talk a bit about the reality of it, because I mean, your situation is one that you can't control everything. There's some things you can control. You control your belief system. You control your clarity on your role, your skills. You can hone your skills so that, listen, I'm one of the best at what I do.
Yeah.
So if you still don't want to appreciate me, what I bring to the table, then that's something with you.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you still might get some delegates or participants in the room who are looking for that figure, what they're used to seeing in relation to an executive coach or a leadership development facilitator. What would you do about that? Because that's the reality.
Yeah, and you gotta. This is establishing you. You gotta focus on what you bring. So there might always be one or two people that don't buy into you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's understanding and persisting as well. And when people see that, and you're consistently doing that, people see that, and doors will open. But don't allow that to break your confidence. And that's why it ties into what we're talking about. It is important to look at some of these cultures, which is why the work we're doing around inspiring inclusion, around leading inclusively as well, because leaders do have a responsibility.
They have a lot of influence
as well to ensure that actually they are not being closed-minded, they're not being sort of biased, and not allowing people to be themselves. So good leaders understand that and give people these opportunities. And I'm seeing some positive in that regard, but there's definitely space to go. You need to call it out. People need to call it out. I'm not saying like just go out and shout this person, because that doesn't work. But by call it out, I mean really spend time to look at the situation. For example, I would like this opportunity. These are the reasons why I should have this opportunity. If it's a task, if it's an activity, these are the skills I bring to the table. How can we collaborate and partner to get there? So I'm not saying, oh, they don't like me because I'm a woman, or they don't like me because I'm black, or whatever. That is really very helpful. But it's about looking at, all right, what are the solutions and steps to look at these opportunities.
So you know, often the conversation in the room when we do group sessions on this topic, I say this topic as in diversity, inclusion, differences, embracing your differences, etc. From a business perspective and an economy perspective, it's very obvious now, the business case as to why differences are important to business in terms of creativity, productivity, and even profit, right? If you want to, if you're somebody who really likes research and findings, check out the McKinsey studies, 2018, 2017. I think 2018 report was around 20%, I think 21% increase in profit for those organizations that were surveyed who had more diverse employees. So we know it makes sense. It makes money, it makes sense. But the reality is that even though some people are getting the differences, the inclusion isn't really there, and people don't feel like they can show up, right? We spoke a little bit about stereotypes and belief systems. One story that I'll share, right? So an organisation was in the hiring process, and they had some really top candidates in the final stage, and in their kind of interview hiring committee, they narrowed it down to one of the top candidates who they would like to offer the job to. And this candidate was a black man, and it was a very senior position. I believe it was executive board level, and he had dreadlocks, so he was visibly different. And they really liked that. Obviously, they didn't share that with him, but afterwards the conversation was like, this is really good that we're going to start to have more perspectives. He's visibly different and very, he added a lot in terms of his skills, competence, and different background. Fast forward, however long it took his notice period before he started, but he came on his first day, the dreads were gone. He cut off his dreads. He cut off his dreads, and I'm assuming I didn't have this conversation.
No one even told him to. He just felt he needed to do it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's this like unwritten code of like, and I'm seeing this a lot with individuals where they feel like they need to tone down the difference, or to look and speak and act a certain way, even if it's not said.
Yeah. It's going back to what I said about the house. He's going in thinking he's a guest, and he should be saying, I'm not saying because I understand that feeling. He's like, I'm a guest, therefore, how do I ensure I don't annoy my guests so they don't kick me out, so I don't outstay my welcome? And it's that feeling of actually saying, you know what, this is my space now.
Yeah.
This is who I am, and that is a real issue, and it's sad that people feel they have to do that.
It is sad.
So the question is, like, what needs to happen? This is 2019 now.
Yeah.
What needs to happen for that to change?
Yeah.
For situations like that, if he wanted to do it of his own will, that's fine. If you wanted a new look, that's fine. But if you're doing it because you feel you're not going to be accepted or embraced, that's an issue.
I think it just you know, it just speaks about where we are. So definitely there's been a lot of progress. So let's not kind of take that away across different industries. I'm sure we can both speak for a long time on. But there is still that, you know what, we still have quite a lot of clients that come to us and they're like, oh, basically the coaching agenda is how do I change myself to fit in here?
Yeah.
You know, what should my name be? Like even myself, like I've had my name used a shorter version of my name, Derek, but also my name is Kwame. Ghanaians obviously have their name based on the day that they were born. That decision wasn't mine. Maybe my parents at some point thought by giving him the English version of his name, it might help with my career prospect. I'm not sure they did that consciously. I actually have to ask them. I haven't actually had that conversation. But yeah, a lot of people are doing that to increase the chances of their pay and their progression.
There's been research about CVs and the amount of times an English sounding name versus the African sounding name. For example, how many interviews they're going to get, and it's quite stark. Look at the contrast. So
the John, for example, was the one that kind of got put forward. You know, really, there's some like quick wins and suggestions that maybe we can come on to in a little bit. But so that's the state. So that's the reality. We spoke about, you know, what we recommend: establishing you, embrace your difference, own your difference, own your house, like that one. Yeah, take ownership. But there are realities, right? And the realities sometimes are external, about kind of the way the culture is set up. But then some of it's also internal. It's up here, which we need to unpick. In terms of the external stuff, I say to, if you are kind of human resources or people focused in terms of your remit, you know, there are strategies such as blind CVs, I say tactics maybe, you know, do more group hiring, allow people to have their differences. Like I said, the productivity, the creativity, these are all the benefits from people showing up differently that you're going to get as a result.